Hey, this is Mike. Thank you so much for choosing this video. Today we're checking out a 2025 GMC Canyon. Now this one is the AT4X AEV edition, so it has a lot of off-road capability. So let's go ahead and check it out. This truck is sitting on 315/70 Goodyear Wrangler tires, wrapped around 17-inch alloy wheels with a gloss black finish. Now these are beadlock capable wheels as well. It also has four-wheel disc brakes. This one is in the volcanic red exterior color, which looks really good. Very impressive looking truck overall. So here in the front, it has the AEV front bumper, and check out that approach angle. Lots of room to get up on a rock or something like that. You can see the red recovery hooks under here as well. Underbody protection, quite a bit of it. Now this one does have a cool camera system. There's a camera here in the very center of the grille. There's one in the back. There's also one underneath each side mirror. There's also underbody cameras as well. We'll look at that soon. It's pretty cool. You get to see basically under the vehicle, inside the wheels, and all that good stuff. So yeah, the camera system's pretty interesting. Now it has the headlight system. All the lights here in the front are LED. Turn signals, accent lights, fog lights, headlights, and all that stuff. So it just has a single LED projector here for the headlights, for the low and the high beams. And then a projector fog light here at the bottom. That's integrated into the AEV bumper here. But yeah, pretty impressive. Now the GMC emblem, it's like a matte red. It doesn't really match the exterior color, but it looks really good. Check out the stance of the truck. It's really cool. It looks really good. And it's a Canyon, so it looks like a full-size truck, but yeah, it's the Canyon, so it's not quite that big. But yeah, it looks awesome. Those big tires and everything. You see it has the rock sliders here on the side. And it's a pretty good ways off the ground, so you kind of have to jump in the truck, and you might need to add a step. So instead of these rock sliders, you might need to put a step there. It has the gloss black handles and side mirrors there, matte black pillar there in the center, kind of solidifying the glass, I suppose. But yeah, pretty cool. Now it just has a regular, it doesn't have like a special AEV key or anything, just regular GMC key. Nothing special, but it does have a remote start, lock and unlock. And it's a proximity key. But you will need to use this button right here to lock and unlock. So it alternates lock and unlock. There's this physical key here as well. The interior has a combination of red, black, and white. And right in here, it has like a hard plastic here at the very top. And then there's like a vinyl type material with some stitching. This is all soft touch. Not super comfortable armrests, but they are soft. They're like soft on the surface, and then quick. It feels like I don't know if you can hear that, but it's like super hard, like 2 millimeters down. So it's like soft on the surface, but that's why it's not very comfortable. Now this right here is a little pocket which is pretty cool. You can put your cell phone or something there, maybe a tiny umbrella, and then you have just a single cup holder here. So not a lot of door storage. And then right in here, it's kind of like a carbon fiber look. I hope you can see that. It's kind of subtle, but looks cool when you get a good glance at it. And of course that white accent popping out, looking nice. Then there is a power seat here on the passenger side. You can go up and down and tilt the back in a two-way lumbar adjustment. These seats are heated and ventilated. They look pretty cool. The little perforations are kind of slotted. They're not round. They look kind of neat. Has the black piping right here is like a cloth, which is in contrast to the seating surface there. There's a red stitching, red accents here, and then like a silver embroidery for the AEV name there. These are really cool seats. They're not like super comfortable though. They're okay, but for me they're not all that great, but other people haven't had a problem with it. But you know, they're okay. I just wouldn't want to take like a long trip or anything in it. And I really like these AEV mats. They're really stiff and they fit in there perfectly. Very durable feeling. They look cool. This is a hard touch surface, non-locking glove compartment. Smooth plastic, and it just kind of drops down. There's no soft landing or anything, but it is good size. Hard touch surfaces here. I like that accent, that white accent with the white stitching there. Looking cool. And there's more of that carbon fiber type stuff right in here. It's kind of subtle. You can't really see it. You just, when your eye catches it, it looks really cool though. And it's like a rubbery, soft, non-reflective dash. There is a handle on this side, but not on the driver's side. You would need to use a steering wheel to climb in the vehicle. This one does have the sunroof as well. The manual shade. Now, I like these red seat belts. Before I forget, this one has the upgraded red seat belts. So you see the opening there in the front is much bigger than the back. The back door is kind of small and not all that great as far as room. So you can see there's not much going on the back door. We do have soft touch surfaces here, just a single bottle holder. This you can utilize as a little pocket, I suppose, but that's a handle as well. And you can see the leg room is kind of limiting. Now, if you pull the seats up more, if you, let's say you're not very tall in the front, you can have a little bit better leg room. There is a place for car seats to attach here on the outer seats. And then there is a armrest here. And this is nice and soft here. Wish all the armrests were this soft. Cup holders as well. But yeah, it looked pretty cool. Got the red and white, black. The headrest will fold down so you can add your visibility a little bit better, which is not all that great because that tire's in the way. I'll show you that soon. It has a manually sliding rear glass as well. Now there's pockets on the back of both front seats. USB-A and USB-C ports here. Climate control vents. And then down here is a power inverter. And there's one in the bed of the truck as well. The one in the bed of the truck is 400 watts. And you have cup holders. Now you can lift these seats up. So that's what it looks like with the seats up. And so there's the tools for the spare tire and a little bit of space to put some stuff, but not a huge amount of space there. You can see the floor mats. I like these floor mats. But yeah, not a huge amount of room here. Looking at the back of the truck, it has like a shark fin antenna up there and then a little mast antenna on top of it. Kind of interesting. Has a third brake light at the back of the cab. Also some bed lighting, which isn't all that great because you have the big tire in the way. And so it does have like a full like the actual tire here for off-roading, and it's mounted in the bed, so it takes up a little bit of bed space, but it looks pretty cool, I guess. Completely blocks your visibility though. So the taillights are mostly standard halogen bulbs. The rear camera is right here, a little bit offset, so it's not directly above the trailer hitch for some reason. And there's a 4- and 7-way outlet up here. Perfect location for it. It's easy to get to, keeps it clean, has covers and all that stuff. There's parking sensors back here. There's also these really robust cast recovery hooks here as well. Easy to get to. Easier than the back. But yeah, this is like a full metal, mostly metal AEV rear bumper. Looks really nice. And once again, check out the approach angles here, or departure angle, I guess you could say. Really nice looking tailgate. Okay, so this lowers down. It has like a soft landing, and it's like too soft because it takes like forever to come down if you don't push it down. So you just kind of like go like that. And the tailgate has this little measurement here. So 48 inches is what it can measure. It's kind of cool to have that on hand. There's also another feature. It has these little locks. Open, open, and then there's these little handles right here you can lift up. And there's a little storage area. Now water and stuff does get in here. It's not like super duper watertight, but it stays mostly clean and mostly dry. But yeah, some water can get in here. It does have a drain right here, so you can take that out, and then when you lift the tailgate up, it'll drain out. So it's not a big deal. There's also little dividers that you can stick in here and you know, attach things and stuff. So it has a little threaded place there to secure things. But yeah, pretty cool. Little storage there. Nice way of, you know, utilizing that space in the tailgate, which is typically hollow anyway. And then you kind of have to press down on it and then lock it. Press down and then lock it. There we go. So this is kind of like a composite material here, but the bed of the truck is steel, and this one has a spray-in bed liner. You can see it has the fixed hooks there. Here in the back, there's the power inverter right there I was talking about, 400 watts. And then you have the fixed tie downs there in the front, but once again, the tire is blocking those. And it has like a full attachment there for the spare tire. And it's very secure. There's no like, it's secure from moving around, but I don't see any kind of like secure as far as from thieves secure. But yeah, maybe there is a, you know, thing that they can sell you to make sure that nobody can steal it. I'm not sure, but I don't see anything on it now. But yeah, it's a pretty decent bed. Even with that tire in the way, it's fairly usable for a lot of stuff. I like the way they kind of put it off to one side, and then that way you can, you know, put some 2x4s or whatever you need here on the right side, so you can utilize the full, you know, length of the bed here. Pretty nice. The fuel door is here on the driver's side, and it's capless. As long as the key's inside the vehicle, hold the brake, press the button to start it up. Here's the floorboard in front of the driver's seat. You notice the floor mat snaps in place over here. There's the accelerator, brake pedal, footrest, which has plenty of room. Let's take a look under the hood. To raise the hood, latch is right here in the very center. Just move it to the right, lift up. Very easy to pick up. It's very light, so it must be aluminum hood. It does require a prop though to hold it up, and there's the prop here. And it swings up right to where that arrow is pointing. There's insulation under the hood. The battery is here on the left side, so that's easy to get to. Just get a little plastic covering things up. There's some insulation and heat shielding there on the firewall. So this is a 2.7 liter 4-cylinder engine, dual overhead cam, turbocharged 4-cylinder. Now it has 310 horsepower at 5,600 RPMs, and then 430 pound-feet of torque at 3,000 RPMs. So the RPMs have to get up there a little bit in order to, you know, feel the actual power of the vehicle, but it does have a lot of power for a 4-cylinder. It's pretty impressive. Now it's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, which does a fairly good job. And of course, with the, you know, 4-wheel drive system has the low range and all that stuff. So if you're off-roading, it's not a big deal as far as getting the RPMs up, really, when you put it in low range. And that way you get the full power of the vehicle, even at low speeds. It does have the blind spot detection system, rear cross traffic alert, and the indicators there on the side mirror. Now the driver's side door is just like the other side, except for it has a few more buttons. So the power windows, the only one that's one touch up and down is the driver. All the rest of them you have to press and hold them. Now there is a button that I'll show you that can hold all the windows down at the same time. It's pretty neat, but it's not here on the door. So yeah, one touch up and down. It's not laminated glass. Your side mirrors are adjusted there. You do have 2 presets for the power seat, including an exit mode. And the driver's seat is basically just like the other side. Usually the driver's seat has more options. This one doesn't. So this is 2-way lumbar adjustment and just basic functionality as far as the power seat goes. They look good. Well, like I mentioned, if you take one for a test drive, just spend a little bit of time in it, you know, 20, 30 minutes, make sure the seat's right for you, especially if you're going on long trips and stuff. So down here are some auxiliary switches. So if you do some upgrading, maybe add some lights or something like that, you can tap into these auxiliary switches here. Trailer brake gain control is here. Dimmer switch for the interior gauges. And then there's a tilt and telescoping steering column as well. You can actually move the driver's seat all the way so far back that it touches the back seat. So if you don't need any back seat passengers, then if you're tall, you can still drive this truck. It's amazing how far back the seat goes. I mean, it goes way back, right up against the seat in the back. Of course, you're not gonna have any room in the back, but you know, something to know that if you're tall, even though it's a small truck, you can still drive it, no problem. So it does have a heated steering wheel. There's the button for the heated steering wheel. Stitching there on the inside. Very comfortable and high quality feeling steering wheel. Not too thin. It has a good size, so it doesn't like dig into your hand or anything. And so yeah, it looks really nice. Cruise controls here on the left side. It does have the adaptive cruise control, but it doesn't have the lane keep assist system or any other advanced features like that. Here on the right side is you can choose the radio. You can also change through like the different views here on the screen. We'll get to that in a minute. And then it has the button there to answer or hang up on the phone call or whatever. You make selections with this. I'll show you that in a second. It all corresponds to that screen right there. On the back of the steering wheel, there's these buttons up and down for the volume for the radio. And it's like perfect because it's designed to where when you're holding the steering wheel, your fingers line up with it. So that's the volume for the radio. On the left side is changed to the tracks. So yeah, I love this feature, and all vehicles should have this. I first experienced it in a Dodge, and it was just so much easier. So having General Motors vehicles is great because I love those features. As you're driving, it's real easy to access the volume for the radio especially. Now the turn signal is also the headlight or the windshield wipers as well. So you have this little dial right here, it's the windshield wipers. Then you have the turn signals and washer and all that stuff here as well. Okay, so here is the digital screen, which is also the gauges. And so if I press this button right here, it's really cool. I mean, right now I have it like in this off-road mode where it has a digital compass. It shows how far you can drive, the range, fuel gauge is there, transmission temperature is there, compass, and then right here it shows the steering angle. So as I turn that, you kind of have to turn a little bit and it'll show your steering angle in degrees. Speedometer, what your transfer case is set at, which is right now is 2-wheel drive. You have the pitch and roll, and it has this little graphic which looks really cool. Engine coolant temperature is over here, and then the odometer, and then the oil temperature is there as well. So that's just one screen, but that is a really cool off-road screen. I gotta admit, it's really cool. And also, like right here, it has this little graphic showing you the front and rear lockers as well, differentials. So I like the way they visualize it, you know. But if we press this button right here, I'm gonna cycle through the different views. So that's more the off-road one, and this is another view. Has the lane keep the adaptive cruise control there in the center. More traditional looking gauges. Next one is more simplified, very simple view. Next one shows the radio on the right, whatever it's doing. On the left is fuel economy, your trip, that kind of stuff. And then the RPMs and the speedometers there in the center. Next one, there's another screen there, slightly different. And then it has the navigation map, which is pretty cool. So it has a more simplified speedometer and stuff, but it has the navigation map now there in the center. You can have the navigation here and here at the exact same time, which is kind of neat. And you press this button again, and it goes back to, or it goes to this next one where it has a G sensor here. RPMs is kind of like this little angle thing going on. So it's in the different view. It goes up and then over. I don't know if yeah, there we go. You can see it go up and over. And if I scroll down up with this little right here, we can choose different radio stations or whatever. The touch screen over here, there's a physical volume knob here, and then the touch screen has the Google navigation maps and stuff like that, so it's pretty familiar for most people, I would say. And when you press this button, it pulls up the controls, and then you can hit this to go into more controls. Something to understand is that this vehicle has the headlight switch on the screen here. So you have off automatic headlights by the parking lights, and then the headlights on manually, and then you have the fog lights controlled here. You can go into the camera, you can adjust the HUD, you can do the basic stuff here, see more controls, and then you can go here. This next one is your phone. Next one is the navigation map. You can see the little icons here on the left. Radio, so whatever your radio is doing, let's change the audio source. You have AM, FM, satellite radio, Bluetooth, Google News, Spotify, USB inputs, Amazon Music, and Amazon Alexa. I guess Alexa is different now. And this one right here has like widgets. And then you have this home screen, which is here, and it has these different options. It does have Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. You see there's some redundancy. It does have a assistant here, which is pretty decent as far as understanding what you say. These are all basically, there's a lot of overlap on the screen with the controls. Now if you go in the off-road here, this is where you'll see some of the stuff that we saw on this screen here. So we have the steering angle, we have the G-force sensor here, tire pressure, and has different options here on what you could focus on depending on what terrain you're on. Now I like the way you can go into the camera here. Now I wish there was like a physical button somewhere. You do have to access the button for the camera on the screen. So the camera has kind of like the default view is the top down here, and then it has the front and rear views. So you can go to front or the rear view. When you put it in reverse, obviously it's going to be the rear view. You also have the top down front, top down back. You can have the front. These are the outer part of the tires here. Those are the front tires. It basically removes the truck and just shows you the side view. And there's the same thing with the back. Now the back's not looking all clear. It looks a little bit zoomed in or cropped or whatever. And then you have this view where it just takes away that side view. So if you want to take that away, you can do that. You can also add a trailer camera here. It's not one attached, but you can add it and have that option as well. So there's some additional options here. This one is showing the backing up to a trailer, but like I said, the camera is offset, unlike the front, to where it's like not directly above the trailer hitch. I mean, it still helps, obviously, but it'd be nice if it was in the center. And then this next one here is underbody cameras. And so you have there's the front view, see the tires there. Push it again, it's the rear view. And it has a little washer here. So you can see that press this button here, press and hold it, and it washes both of them at the same time. And speaking of both of them at the same time, you can see both of them at the same time here. So the front and the rear view. So yeah, being able to see the outside and inside of the tires and directly under the vehicle, keeping an eye for rocks or whatever it happens to be that happens, that you're looking at. Now you do need to, get underneath the vehicle and wipe it every once in a while. The washer works okay, but eventually you have to get under there and wipe it. It's not really a big deal, but because the vehicle's so high, it's really easy to just, lay down, reach under there, wipe it, clean it. So it has an aluminum drive shaft and a lot of underbody protection here. But right here is where the cameras are located. Right here in the center. So there's two of them, one facing forward, one facing back. There's a little sprayer that can spray on them, but they don't get super clean. So it's a good idea to be able to just kind of reach under here and wipe them off every once in a while. Kind of like, it has this really tough like glass or plastic over top of them. So that's the front facing one, and the back facing one is here. But yeah, it does have a sprayer, so like say if there's mud splashing on it or something like that, it will, you can spray it off, but you still need to really wipe it. Reach under here and wipe it. But yeah, the underbody camera is awesome. The camera system in general is really good. But yeah, pretty cool. Has a lot of features here. Let's go back to the, yeah, full Google system basically. Now I wish the digital clock was larger and also would stay up all the time. Sometimes when you have the camera up at different times, the clock just goes away, you know, and there's lots of times where I want to glance at the screen and look at the clock because I'm running late or whatever, and I'm trying to focus on the time and it's just not there, and I have to, like, you know, finish backing up or whatever I was doing, and then finally, and then look again. You know, it should just be there all the time. And then also larger, not just a little tiny thing in the corner. Sometimes time is of the essence, right? So, you know, that's a little critique there. Climate controls down here. You have the driver and passenger temperatures there, so you can adjust it. I have them synced right now. Then you have where you want the air to blow. To the front seats here have heated. It's a 3-stage heated and 3-stage cooled seat for the driver and passenger. Also, like I mentioned, heated steering wheel. Front rear defroster, fan speed, and then the recirculate the air, that kind of stuff. It does have an automatic function, but it seems like it blows the fan way too much. Like it's just constantly blasting out the fan, and the fan's kind of loud and like it, I don't know. It's like really loud, and so I don't really care for, you know, it blasting all the time. It doesn't really need to do that. So when I put it on automatic, it just seems to blast too much air unnecessarily, right? Okay, so down here it does have the, speaking of blasting air, I'm gonna get it off the camera. It has the idle stop. You can turn it off here, and then you have the rear locking differential, and then both the front and rear locking differential buttons here. And these are like little toggle switches. You press down on them to toggle on or off. And then there are 4-way flashers, lane departure warning system, auxiliary here, in addition to the other ones I showed you. And then this button right here is pretty cool. You just press that and it rolls all the windows down. Not the sunroof, just the windows. All 4 windows will roll down. You can't roll them back up. You have to individually do that, but you can, you know, quickly roll them all down at the same time. Never seen that before. It's pretty neat. USB-A, USB-C ports here. Now there's a wireless charger right here, and it's just a little bit too small for my phone. So it has like this rubber mat in here, and it's, looking at it, it looks like they could easily design this without these little chunks here on the side to make my phone fit and other people's phone fit. So I don't know if they're gonna do that. Now me personally, if I own this truck, I'd probably just take and cut these off. Just these little chunks here on the end, and then my phone would fit in there fine. So it's just kind of like, I don't know, I'm not sure why they put all that chunkiness there. But yeah, that's what it looks like without the cover in it. So yeah, I'm not sure why they have to have that chunk there on the side, but it just makes it to where, like, I tried it, didn't work for my phone. My son, he tried his phone in there, it didn't work. So, you know, it's a little bit, I guess it's like a little dated now. I guess phones are too big to fit in there, or at least ours are anyway. Okay, so it does have the drive modes. If you turn this dial right here, then it's gonna pop up the different drive modes here. So let's see, normal, Baja, tow and haul, off-road, and then you have the 4-wheel drive control here, automatic. You just press on this little dial right here, and so there's automatic 2-wheel drive high, 4-wheel drive high, and 4-wheel drive low. So turning the dial changes the drive mode, and then, you know, pressing in on these buttons can change the 4-wheel drive system separate. Electronic parking brake is here, and then the shifter, pretty straightforward. Parking sensors and the camera system are active when you put it in reverse. Let's turn off the parking sensors in the settings or something. Neutral, drive, and then it has a low range for going down steep hills and stuff. And the 8-speed transmission does a decent job. There's cup holders here. It's an armrest. It's kind of like a rubbery armrest. Then it lifts up. It does has like a button right here, but it's not like super like secure. It moves a little bit. This lifts up, and then it stays wherever you leave it, so it doesn't slap back down on you like some armrests. and it goes only to there, so it's kind of in the way a little bit. Let me take this towel out. It has this little quick access tray. Move that out of the way. There's my headphones and my business cards, and there is a 12-volt power supply in here, and pretty much nothing else. There's no light in here. There's no light in the glove compartment. There's really no lights. So this truck has very little light. So headlights and, you know, some real basic lights, and that's about it. They're not very great for nighttime use. But yeah, that 12-volt power supply is, you know, not all that great if you got like a radar detector or something like that. So they just kind of like put it in there, check the box, make sure that it has it in the vehicle, and moving on. So yeah, having it in a location, I guess you could basically direct wire your radar detector up here. Is pretty much have to do it. So while we're up here, it does have an auto dim rear view mirror, but considering that tire gets in the way and blocks your visibility, you don't really have much visibility here. So if they were to, on the AEV version, at the very least, added the like a digital mirror or a rear view camera here, would be excellent. But as it is, it's pretty much, you know, a waste of time as far as visibility here. So up here we have the OnStar individual reading lights, basically like 90s style, I guess. Halogen, not very bright. And then there's the interior lights here. You can turn it all on, all off, or have them turn on with the door in the center position. And then there is the buttons for the sunroof here, tilting it and sliding it and all that stuff. Now the visor is a black cloth, similar to the headliner. It's a little bit softer feeling. It does have a light with, or a mirror with two lights. Pretty cool. Not super bright or anything, which I guess that's good. Little clip right here. Now it does slide out. Doesn't go all the way to the end, but it does slide here to the side. Now the sunroof, it has a shade that blocks 100% of the light up here. And let's go ahead and slide it back. You can see what that did, or how that works. Move it forward. And then the other button here to the right is to tilt it up. Okay, so visibility here in the back. The tire, the headrests, all that get in the way. So the camera, if it had like a digital rear view camera system, then that would be awesome. As it is, it's not good at all. I mean, it's pretty much terrible. You have to rely on these little tiny side mirrors here and here to see behind you, for the most part. So, you know, you can fold those headrests down and that would help, but yeah, still not good. So the camera system is good as far as, like, you know, maneuvering and stuff like that, but as you're driving, your rear view visibility is very limited. You have to rely on these little tiny side mirrors, and they are really small. They look cool, but as far as using the truck, it's, you know, you're not really going to see behind you too much. Now you can, as you're driving, you can actually have the camera up if you wanted to, and you can switch it to the rear view like that. You can drive like this and see directly behind you. So that, you know, if you need rearward visibility, like, that would probably be the thing to do, actually, if you're not using the screen for anything else. But yeah, this, you know, you can have the camera system up while you're driving, which is cool. Alright, there's nobody behind me. I'm going to just stop here and accelerate so you can hear the engine and everything. Yeah, not bad, considering the size of the tires and everything. This is a 4-cylinder, so it's pretty impressive for a 4-cylinder, for sure. and that was in two-wheel drive mode, so it wasn't in automatic or anything, and there wasn't any kind of wheel spin or anything like that. But yeah, it accelerates fine, and you know, it feels like it has the power where it needs it. Now, of course, I'm on flat roads, basically. I'm not off-roading or anything. So, and this vehicle is made for the off-road experience, really. With the AEV, the four-wheel drive and everything is designed for like an off-road, off the path type experience. These big tires, at least that's what it looks like, right? It has an off-road aesthetic, and I think that's the main goal. But it does, you know, have the off-road capabilities. It has a lot of underbody protection, the big tires, and all that stuff. But I don't know, but it seems to me like if you're going up steep hills or in rocks especially, the power, I don't know if it's going to be adequate enough at the lower RPM range, you know, for doing some of the more demanding off-road activities. Maybe it is, you know, maybe it is. But yeah, certainly drives great on the road. Some off-road focused vehicles have kind of like a, you know, mediocre road experience, and you know, you can kind of tell it's like made to go off-road. Now this one is too, and it has that feel like you want to just like go in the nearest field, right? But it just handles well on the road. It feels like it's designed well for the road as well as off-road, right? Now I don't have the ability to go off-road with it. I don't have the permission and all that stuff to do any kind of significant off-roading. But it is a interesting vehicle because a 4-cylinder, $70,000, 16 miles per gallon. There's some variables that are kind of perplexing to me, right? And also the Canyon. You know, like it's small on the inside, relatively small, but it's actually large overall, with the large wheels and everything, which gives it a really cool look. Like you look at it, it's like, wow, that is a sharp looking truck, right? But you know, like, and that's a big deal. You know, a lot of people want a good looking vehicle, and I think that excels in that area. And people like the off-road aesthetic, and they also like the capability to be able to go off-road when they want, but generally driving on-road maybe. And you know, this is pretty good with all that. It's just I don't know, it just seems like it's a little bit overdone for a lot of people. You know, it's more for like, you kind of have, it's like a niche person, you know, like somebody that's actually going to do some off-roading and that kind of stuff, and you know, utilize the capabilities that this vehicle has. Now, some of the it has a lot of strong points as far as the off-road and all that stuff, but some of the weak points really is the nighttime usability. You know, there's very little lighting, cargo, exterior lighting, interior lighting, and all that stuff. So if you're using this at night, just bring a flashlight, really. It's not really that great at nighttime. You know, a lot of off-road, a lot of vehicle trucks, especially work trucks, you know, they have good lighting, interior and exterior lighting for, you know, finding tools and working around the vehicle. This one it just doesn't. I mean, obviously it's not a work truck, but if you're going off-road, obviously not a lot of street lights on the path at nighttime. So if you're going off-road, I mean, like I said, just bring a flashlight. It's not really designed well for you know, nighttime usability, and the headlights are okay, you know, and that's the most part, you know, that's the most important thing I would say. But you know, if you're using it at night and more than just driving down a trail or something, then you know, camping or something like that, it's just not really that great. So flashlight time, and that's about it. So let's accelerate again here. Okay, so I got a tiny bit of wheel spin there with the acceleration. But yeah, the transmission's good. It handles the shifting fine, and the acceleration, you know, needs a lot of RPMs. But yeah, I mean, for a 4-cylinder, it's pretty impressive. It just needs those RPMs to get going, and it's taken off pretty good. Yeah, the on-road driving on these curves and just in general is great. That's the thing. When I looked at it, I was like, man, you know, is this going to be not all that great off-road, on-road? You know, it's going to be more of an off-road vehicle, but it just fine on-road as well. So yeah, there's a little bit of wind noise. I mean, it's not like it's supposed to be a real quiet vehicle, and thought there was going to be more road noise with these big tires and everything, all-terrain type tires, but not really. It hasn't really been a problem. You can hear them a little bit, but it's no big deal really. It does have a great sound system. The Bose in this truck sounds really good. Really impressed with that. And you know, this one doesn't have any kind of lane keep assist or anything like that, or you know, Super Cruise or anything like that. But it has a lot of off-road features, like I showed you. The pitch and roll and digital compass, and you know, front and rear lockers. And so yeah, it's a pretty cool vehicle. Now this is my first Canyon that I've driven in a long time, and it just happened to have all this off-road stuff, you know, the AEV package and all that. So I don't really have the context to compare it to a regular, you know, just a regular Canyon. But yeah, this is pretty cool. One thing I would say, one of the biggest weaknesses as far as just driving it, you know, would be not having a digital camera here, a digital rear view camera, because it has that tire right in the way, and I have like zero visibility using that mirror right there. So if it had the rear view camera right there, it would be great. I do like the fact that you can look at all the cameras here while you're driving, and including the underbody camera here as well. Being able to see under the vehicle is pretty cool. Front and back. And it has a little washer and all that stuff too, which really you have to get under there to clean it sometimes. You wipe it with a cloth because you know, the washer can only do so much, and it gets dirty quite a bit just because it's right underneath the vehicle, so you know, dust and dirt and all that stuff. But you can clean it, or you can get it wet anyway, and we'll see how that works. Sometimes it does work fine, depends on what's on the lens, you know. If it's kind of like accumulated a lot, then you kind of have to get under there and wipe it, which is not a big deal because it's off the ground a lot. You just have to lay down on the ground and reach out of there and wipe it, and front, back, and then you're done. But yeah, that's a cool feature. I haven't seen that in any other vehicle, underbody cameras. That's really awesome.